no more of this. No more of this habit. No more of this disrespect. No more of letting these people get away with crossing my boundaries, and I just keep taking it on the chin, and I keep taking it on the chin. No more of letting you in my house when I know you're just going to come and wreak havoc and stay longer than you say you're going to and use up all my food and all my money. Nope, we're done here, because that's the only way that you're going to get freedom from what is trying to hold you back. Welcome to the Pastor's Lounge. I'm Sherry, your unapologetically Christian therapist. Here we talk about all things mental health and wellness from a biblical perspective. I think sometimes as Christians, we forget, no, that's not the word. We assume that we're supposed to be nice all the time. Like being Christian means that you are just kind and soft and cuddly, because we have somehow also adopted that inaccurate, or I would say insufficient view of Jesus, like he's just nice and kind and cuddly. And we forget that there are some very particular scriptures in the Bible that were placed there very intentionally, where Jesus was not nice. when he called out the Pharisees, he wasn't mincing his words. And, when he addressed, the devil, and when he just, told the devil behind Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan," like looking like through his disciple, his friend, to call out the wrong that was being said. And the favorite scripture, right, where Jesus goes into the temple and they have just set it up as this big market and selling and buying place. And he's like, "What are y'all doing?" And he flipped, it's in the Bible, he flipped tables, he threw a fit. And it says that, and the Bible says he drove them out. Like in my mind, I'm picturing Jesus in his mighty, like super carpenter guy full of muscles, like putting hands on folks, like, "Get out of here. This is not what this space is for." And today I really just want to get right to the point of stop being soft. Stop being soft and passive with your issues, with your hangups, with your bad habits, with that relationship that that's not healthy, parents with that like 36-year-old that's still in your house and just on your couch doing absolutely nothing. You're like, "Yeah, but he's just Nope, we need to draw some boundaries and set some expectations and start to push. Like it's time to stop being no more Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guy is what we're gonna call this, right? There comes a point where in wanting to make some really drastic changes in your life, you've got to get aggressive. And I don't mean, literally punching people in the face. I mean that you get tough with your stuff. You understand? I'm thinking of a client couple that I worked with a while ago that was dealing with some really tough issues in their marriage. And I actually asked one of the spouses, like, "Hey, like, if you were to reflect on everything that brought you here, like, do you guys together and kind of your perspective on things and what it took to get to the point where you guys are ready to face some of these issues in your relationship head on, like how would you reflect this to somebody else if they were coming up behind you working through these similar struggles?" And their response was, "You handle it aggressively." And there was something about the way that was said that like struck me, and it led to even, kind of started me thinking about this, about having this conversation. Like, yeah, like there are some things. I remember hearing this actually on a Dave Ramsey video that was about, finances and financial freedom. And that one of the things he said is that's also kind of how you get when you're so sick of being in debt and having poor spending habits and you're ready to make these big changes. I remember watching a video of his and he's like, you have to get to the point where you're just like, enough, like you scream it. It's like, and once you're there, you're ready to make changes. That's true, folks. That's true. If you keep trying to lose weight and it keeps not happening, like what's going wrong? Where are you not drawing the indelible line that says no more of this? No more of this habit. No more of this disrespect. No more of letting these people get away with crossing my boundaries, and I just keep taking it on the chin, and I keep taking it on the chin. No more of letting you in my house when I know you're just going to come and wreak havoc and stay longer than you say you're going to and use up all my food and all my money. Nope, we're done here, Sometimes you need to get aggressive. Sometimes that toughness needs to be turned inward when you're looking at yourself and you're in this cyclical pattern of repeating the same mistakes over. At what point do we draw the line and say, enough of this? Knock it off, Sherry. I'm talking to myself, right? We can get so complacent and comfortable and comfy. I know we've dealt with this, in other conversations, right? We get so comfy with our nonsense that we forget that we're really supposed to really stay on offense, like really work and fight against the things that are keeping us from making progress. If you're in this life, you are either actively swimming upstream, right? Or you're floating backwards. You're not just hanging out in this neutral ground. You have to make intentional steps forward and make some hard decisions and shut some doors. I've worked with more clients than I can count who are coming to me trying to, so they say, be done with a toxic relationship, right? And that's what I'm hearing, right? They're telling me, oh yeah, like I'm so done, never again. I'm never letting him back in my life again. And, it's just so unhealthy. And every time, I try to work around it, or we try to, make peace and start all over again. We break up, we try again. It just keeps failing. So you know what? No, this is the last time. This is the last time. I was like, okay. Did you change the locks? Did you block them on all of your platforms? Did you change your number? Did you let them know that the answer is no indefinitely? Like what steps you take? I can't. I don't think I'm ready to block them. Like I don't know. I mean, isn't that harsh? I just need to tell them. I need to communicate with them and just let them know, like, hey, we're gonna take a different approach. You're not ready. You're not ready to change. No, you're not, because you're still keeping the door cracked. You're still keeping the door cracked. How many of us are saying we want to change, we want better, we want God to move, we want more of His power and anointing, we want to live healthier, we want to live more boldly, blah, 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 blah. You're still keeping the door. You're keeping a little window so that you have some room to go backwards. Either shut the door and change the locks on whatever, on whoever, or you're really not ready to change. And some stuff you just have to get aggressive with. Some stuff have to be driven out. They're not just going to float away. They're not just going to take a hint and be like, oh, you know what? I just sense that this is just not, I'll get my things. I'll see myself out. Type of thing. You're not getting that. And a lot of times we're asking God to do that type of stuff for us, which is comical to me. Like, Lord, just make them go away, or just make the situation change. If it's not for me, just let it just fall to the side. And God's like, no, you put it out. I didn't let that in. I didn't tell you to date that person. I didn't tell you let them come back in your life. I didn't tell you take that job. As a matter of fact, all that unrest you were feeling, that was me saying not a good idea. You just didn't want to listen because the money looked good. And now that it's everything that you didn't want it to be, now you want to look at me like, Lord, if this is not for me, just let the business just close. No, quit. Do it yourself. Do it yourself, because you let it in. Sometimes we have to get that firm and draw those type of lines. Like, absolutely not. By God's grace, that's done. You're done. That attitude is done. That behavior is done. That habit is done. That generational curse, we're done with that. This is the last family member that's going to be caught up in these substance issues, or this promiscuity, or this inability to stay faithful, or last broken. This is the last broken marriage we're going to have. Nope. I'm going to be the one to break that cycle and mean it. And by God's grace, do it and fight to keep it. Fight to protect it, right? People who want to get healthier and all of that, there's so much out there, and all these quick fixes or attempts at quick fixes for losing weight or getting healthy or whatever it is, because nobody wants to do the hard work. We want to be able to snap our fingers and stuff just falls into place. That's not real. Sometimes you have to do the hard work. You have to do the pushing. You have to have the hard conversation. They're not just going to leave. You're going to have to put them out. Do you hear me? This is a season, we're in a time where if you are not explicitly clear and bold about your position about something, you're basically saying yes to everything, right? We can't be passive anymore, folks. Not in our mental health goals, not in our physical health goals, not in our relationship goals, not with our finances, right? Like if you're saying, I want to end this year out of debt or significantly in a better place with better saving, what are you going to do about that immediately? That's not just going to happen, y'all. Ask my husband and me. Like we had to sit, get out all of those details, go line by line by line, have an Excel chart with our budget, and here's what's coming in, and here are all of the bills, and here's every down to the dollar. We don't mess around. Why? Because we're determined to get out of debt and be good stewards of God's money. If you don't work your money, you don't tell your money where to go, it's just going to go wherever it wants. You are to steward it. You are to govern it and give it direction, right? It's not just going to happen by itself. So what does that mean? You might have to get a financial planner. You might have to sacrifice, get that personal trainer. You might have to, come sit with me, get some therapy work and realize I'm sick of this pattern with me in these relationships. I'm going to make a drastic change and refuse to continue operating the same. But are you willing to draw that line? Step across that threshold. No more straddling the fence. Come completely to the other side and say, absolutely not. No. Shut the door. Lock it. Throw away the key. Can you do that? Sometimes we need to really be tougher. Get some thicker skin to really see the changes that we want and need to in our lives. Jesus, in all of his compassion and all of his strength and everything that he did, the miracles that he worked, he would tell people as he's healing them, as he's delivering them, go, but sin no more. That's pretty clear. And that's, when you think what I'm saying out loud, even thinking about it right now, he doesn't leave any avenue. It's not like go and like sin less, right? Like it's not like, well, maybe, to try a little harder. Go and sin no more. I'm being checked even as I'm saying this out loud. Like God's like, knock it off completely. Don't do it again. And if in fact he's being that definitive in the word, then wouldn't that imply that he actually expects that to be an actual attainable reality? He's not holding this little carrot out front thinking like, well, you're not really going to ever be able to do that. He's telling people go and sin no more. Or worse will happen to you, right? He talks about with the man who was, brought down through the roof and healed. He's like, go, but don't go back to that life you were living. The woman that they brought before him, they were all ready to stone her. Like she was caught in the very act of adultery. And God's like, all y'all hush, right? And ultimately he's like, you can go. All of them are just as sinful, so they can't do anything to you. But also, I pardon you. Go and sin no more. He draws these hard lines. Are we not reading the word? That's exactly what he expects from us. No passivity, no lollygagging, no trying to be between the lines. Well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Hurt them. Hurt the feelings. Hurt them. The Lord will deal with it. Because if it's causing you to regress, if it's making you someone you're not, if it's making you have to deny the truth of who God has made you to be and what he expects you to do, it is not worth it. It is not. I'm sorry. It isn't. So this is the season. God is challenging his people. Enough is enough of the half effort and the cyclical failing and falling and flailing about. And God is saying, be done with it. And you know what it is. That is completely open to whatever you know is coming to mind as you're listening to this. What is that one thing, that one person, that one habit, that one attitude, that one vice? What is it that God's like, draw the hard line and you keep leaving room for it to come back? Sometimes I work with some clients of adult children who are just refusing to launch. And it's not, listen, I lived in my mother's house until I got married. Okay, this is not me saying that everybody needs to be put out at 18. Like, that is not what I mean. But I was a productive adult contributing to the household, completely individuated and operating independently, and just happened to still be living at home because that was the wise thing to do, because my covering was still my mother until it was my husband. That is just how we formulated things in our house. But so there's nothing wrong with launching when you're ready, before me, or staying a little longer than me, because that's the right thing for your context. What I'm saying is being there with purpose, right? The one who's just coasting on your couch and not working and just lazy, and you're still, handing them their meals, like, I'll leave that alone for now, right? You know how sometimes we need to make some change? I talk to some clients, move. Sell your house, get a 1-bedroom apartment, but darn, no room for you. Make it a little less convenient to do nothing. Because I get the complaints, right? When clients come back to me and they're like, oh my gosh, my adult son, like, I'm just so drained and I'm so exhausted. It's such hard work. And it's so hard to watch him. I'm like, you wouldn't have to watch him if you stopped letting him in every other year when he's just tired of adulting. How about that? Harsh words. But so was Jesus saying, get all of you, get the heck out of here now. And also, I'm going to help you. Get out, right? Take a page out of Jesus's book. If something is where it does not belong, you actively and forcibly remove it. You don't just sit in the corner and say, well, I hope you leave, or maybe, someday. Push it out. Close the door. Whatever that is, make the change. Make it quickly and make it permanent. By God's grace, He'll help you. God's not asking you to do this alone. He knows it's hard for you. That's why it's taking you so long. Ask for His help and then do what He says. Okay? You won't regret it. You will never regret obeying God and doing the harder thing. So, no more Mr. and Mrs. Nice Guy. Let's put that to rest. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's do the hard work. Let's draw a hard line so we can live the abundant, whole lives that God intended. I pray this blessed you, motivated you, pushed you wherever it needed to, and you're going to make some great changes in the near future, if not tomorrow. All right? And please like, subscribe, and share. Get other people on the bandwagon with this, because this is a necessary change. We all need to make it, and I'm preaching to myself today as well. All right, and until next time, I pray that you prosper and you are in great health, even and especially as your soul prospers.